Hello, today I want to cover some basic things, a company overview. I'd like to go through why Bloodscan was developed, some of the science behind Bloodscan and why we do what we do, the steps in performing a blood scan, our training program, and the difference between Bloodscan and many of its other products. So if we begin with a company overview, Bloodscan was developed by a company called PicLife Proprietary Limited, an Australian private company, and we operate in various countries, so North America, which includes Canada, the US, Asia, South Africa and Australia. The two products that we primarily promote through these companies are the Bloodscan product, which we're talking about today, and our weight management programs. In terms of the development of Bloodscan, we initially commercialised in Australia in 2004. In 2006-2007 we moved into the Asian markets, followed by North America in 2007, also India. And we've been playing in the South African market for some time now as well. I'd like to introduce you to some of the thinking behind why I developed Bloodscan. First of all, most people generally think that they're well because they don't have a symptom and they feel pretty well. The reality though is that for 1 in 4 people who have heart attacks, the very first symptom they had was sudden death. With the introduction of antibiotics and the like, we've seen that infectious diseases are now taking a backseat to degenerative diseases such as heart disease, cancer, stroke, diabetes and so on. And in fact, if we look at the global trends, according to the World Health Organization, significant numbers of people are being treated or dying from these diseases every day. So let's look at what a degenerative disease is, and there's quite a lot we could talk about, but essentially degenerative disease means the body is wearing out, and that can be done caused by lifestyle choices or just basic wear and tear. That process is called oxidative stress or oxidative damage, which is in essence premature aging, which is caused by free radical actions on the body. And again, there's a whole range of things that we can look at there, but basically oxidative stress causes damage to proteins, the lipids and the DNA, in other words the building blocks of the human body, and we know that oxidative stress is associated with degenerative diseases. The theory then being is if we reduce the level of oxidative stress, it may be possible to reduce the amount of degenerative disease and premature aging. And in fact, there's some fairly substantial research out there suggesting that this is the case. And in fact, if we look at people like Bruce Ames, who's saying that 99% of DNA damage can be reversed through the use of antioxidant therapies, that might be a good place to start. So let's have a look at the situation. We know that current diagnostic testing can identify clinical pathology. There's no question about that. And we know that wellness and disease, it's a progression from wellness to disease. The problem comes with what happens if your current state is not within the guidelines or the boundaries of current testing and diagnostics. So there has to be a way to look at the body to see if there are these early signs of degenerative process, and the answer is yes, there is. The question really is, well, how can we look at those? What is it we need to look at to discover the process? Where do we look? And the reality is that I needed to know which system in the body was interconnected with every other system in the body, and could we look at it? And the answer was blood. It controls water, oxygen, digestion and so on. So the reality was that my conclusion was that if we looked in the blood, we should be able to see what we were actually looking for. The next question was, can oxidative stress, can that actually be seen in the blood? And again, the answer is yes. The question is, how? So looking at establishing Bloodscan, I looked at these existing technologies, existing research. We looked at people like Pasteur, Beauchamp, Endelin. We looked at Bolin, a whole range of people that were already in the markets, but they weren't identifying or addressing the problem as a whole. So the creation of Bloodscan took existing microscopy techniques, one being dark field and phase contrast, to look at those elements that we couldn't see simply in the blood, things like protein veils. We also look at blood in bright field, and both of these samples are taken in a live, non-preserved sample, or in other words, a wet mount. We also wanted to look at white blood cells in a specific way, and the best way to do that was through what's called a differential stain, and that is applied through conventional pathology techniques, and then applying the oxidative stress test as it was determined by Dr. Bolin in the 1920s, and looking for inflammation and congestion. We know that through the system of looking at blood, we can see various elements. What we needed then to do was to create a system that allowed us to collate that information, hence the development of our reporting system. And the reporting system correlates the data and provides benchmarks of wellness for us. So in a blood scan, we use computer technology, a laptop, we use external monitors, we use traditional optical microscopes. We take a sample from the finger and we prepare a wet mount, we prepare a smeared, and we also prepare what's called an oxidative stress test or layered dried blood test. We look at various aspects of the blood, both in dark field and bright field, from live to stained blood, and we also look at the oxidative stress test component, which is looking at a single drop of blood and looking for areas of inflammatory process or inflammation or congestion. The data is then entered into our reporting system, and from there we look at both the live blood and the dried blood, and basically the reporting system then gives us a report that shows what's going on. We do not diagnose disease, but we do show subtle changes that may manifest into symptoms. Such things that we look at are the things that are determined to be oxidative stress. So we look at nutritional imbalances, things like liver stress, kidney stress that are caused through oxidative damage. Our reporting system is very comprehensive, giving 15 or 16 pages of correlation data between our statistical norms and patient results. Our information is always recommended through referenced material. So if we're looking at, for example, cellular fatigue, there's a whole range of references there that will give you information as to why specific supplements are recommended. So the role of Bloodscan is this. We're born quite well and we can live a life of optimum wellness and eventually we'll go on to die. But in reality what happens is we move from a position of ease to dis-ease. That progresses into disease, progressing into death. And all allopathic strategies, all naturopathic current thinking is in that area. Bloodscan, however, looks at identifying those preclinical changes that occur in the body prior to the disease symptom or disease or the symptom setting in. So the role of Bloodscan is to assess health from a preclinical, pre-symptomatic preventative approach. We do not use biochemical markers to look at specific pathologies, but we do give an identification of clinical pathology, and it's often confirmed through conventional screening. Bloodscan training is very comprehensive and conforms to the processes of outcome-based education. It provides 50 hours or more of training, which is delivered as theoretical online training and a 5 or 6 day workshop depending on which country you're in. Generally it's a 5-day intensive program, and we only provide our training to qualified healthcare practitioners. Bloodscan's training is only available to health practitioners because we do not want the layman just going out there and saying this is right, that's wrong. So we keep a very tight rein on who can and cannot do our training. We also provide with our training video samples, which allows practitioners to not only have the textbooks but also samples of videos. Our comprehensive manual system there's actually now 7 manuals involved, not the 4. And our manuals are set up such that they provide you with conventional layouts, so we show you screen pictures of all the software. All of our assessments are done showing both conventional view, what it indicates, and supplement recommendations. So the difference of Bloodscan, if we look at Bloodscan compared to its competitors, we are fully referenced. We have dark field, bright field microscopy. We offer phase contrast as an option. We provide a real online reporting system. We back up all your client data for you. We have ongoing support from practitioners post-training. Your training commitment is somewhere between 50 and 60 hours. We have theoretical and practical assessments. Our training has been determined to meet the standards for outcome-based education. Our training staff are all qualified healthcare practitioners who have gone through our training programs. And when we start to look at other practitioners, other programs, we start to see that there is some significant differences. One of the major differences you'll notice is that Bloodscan is not aligned to any particular product. Biomedics, although we've said unknown here, is actually aligned with Sanam Remedies. Not that there's anything wrong with the Sanam Remedies or the Metagenics products, it's just we would prefer our practitioners to make the decision of which product they would like to use with their clients. So why would you partner with Bloodscan? Basically, we've got sound corporate background, scientific background, supported by scientific and medical practitioners. We have a medical board that advises to us, which incorporates general practitioners, pathologists, and so on. We have a product that is recognised by the professional indemnity insurers. We have a substantially proven business model worldwide and globally. In fact, we've had accountants look at our systems and they suggest that you can increase your income quite substantially by just incorporating Bloodscan into your product. We know that the market is growing in this area, and we have both local and international support. So your next step in determining whether you want to become involved with Bloodscan is to make a decision whether you would like to join us or not. And if you do wish to join us, then it's really quite simple. You just need to complete your enrolment form, pay for the course, download your training modules, and then off you go. So thank you for considering the Bloodscan systems, and we hope to see you in the future very soon.